Hey guys, welcome to the Blue Collar Business Podcast, where we discuss the realest, rawest, most relevant stories and strategies behind building every corner of a blue collar business. I'm your host, Cy Kirby, and I want to help you what it took me, trial and error, and a whole lot of money to learn. The information that no one in this industry is willing to share. Whether you're under that shade tree or have your hard hat on, let's expand your toolbox. Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Collar Business Podcast. I have one of the most influential people in my life. Said he doesn't realize he's as influential as he is. Been with me since day one. Been some good times, been some bad times. But he's been there with me through it all. And it's my first ever employee with Sy-Con Excavation and Utilities. And there was a brief gap there. But Dylan Cecil is our guest today. How are you, bub?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Little different space here.
Yeah, it's a lot more lit up.
So Dylan, and pardon my voice today, guys. I not flu. I went to the doc, got tested. It's just I'm gonna be sipping on some tea here.
And making some unhealthy decisions, huh?
Yeah. No, not really. I feel like I've been drinking lots of water. I have been drinking them Celsius. Shout out. But Dylan has been here. It was roughly 8-9 months after I started up Sy-Con that I knew I was not going to be able to keep it up myself, and I needed somebody I could trust, etc. And Dylan actually took a week of vacation prior to coming on full time to help me through a project, and he was there through the whole thing. But
that was a wild ride, right?
Bro, a couple hydrants.
No, I think that's whenever the guy. I think we're on Highway 112, and the guy almost came and hit us head on.
Oh my God! No, that was day one, bro. I met you. I was like, didn't we meet down by the creeks or something?
Yep.
We picked you up or something.
Your wife worked for the city of Cave Springs there.
Yes, that's right. And I had to meet her or something. Anyways, I pick him up, and it was not even 2 seconds down the road, we get clipped by this dude. It was actually a contractor, different contractor, but et cetera. But man, we go way, way back, me and Dylan, back to youth group days of church when we were kids and traveling to Florida and Daytona, and just really cool times. And I can't tell you how much he has been. I still call him the best spotter in the company.
Definitely. Hands down.
I still call him the best spotter in the company, but he is doing a very different role nowadays. We are 9 years old as a company this month as under Sy-Con, and Dylan, you've been here for almost 7 of them in total. There was a year break there that jumped over to the municipality. As I've talked on this show before, municipalities and contractors, we do the same thing. We just care about 2 different things, and but municipality comes with a little lower pay, but way better benefits package than mainly that's serving in the contractor groups. And anyways,
it's a much easier job.
Well, at least you're honest, my guy.
Yep.
So, Dylan has been apart from, I need you guys to understand that Sy-Con wasn't always a commercial site work outfit. It wasn't, but 9 years ago, we were doing everything and anything, burying horses to a lot of electrical secondary ditches, plumbers' ditches. Man, what else? Topsoiling houses. We'll never forget.
That was a mainstay.
For a little while. We had one contractor. I would always used to tell Dylan, driving around, just me and him, I'm like, dude, I need to find the one guy that pays consistently and has a high volume of work. And we met our first contractor, and he was a builder. Shout out to Mr. Hash, I got to say. But we did a lot in Cave Springs.
Yes,
I mean,
we lived there.
We did. Subdivisions worth of finishing out, doing rough grade, doing final grade, digging out for sidewalks, driveway aprons, absolute finish grade and drainage and topsoil. It became a lot, and we grew out of it, of course, but at the same time, it fed us for a long time.
Spreading that much topsoil, I became like the best skid steer operator of all time, right?
You got pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, and that's what people don't realize is that I could send Dylan out to go load some trucks, and people will be like, "Really, Dylan can load trucks? Yeah, he can come out on that keyboard every once in a while, you know."
Yeah. Like I said, before I retire, when they put me out to pasture, I just want to be the backhoe operator for a month. Just that's my job.
No, Dylan, I got to say, last little experience here. I mean, we for 2 years almost we hit unmarked 2-inch gas main in a backyard had nothing to do with us, and we hit a unmarked fiber within that 2 years time frame of usually just me and him digging, especially if it was anything high profile or etc. But dude, talk about a little bit of your experience. You can go in depth as you want, but from getting from maybe ditch hand to the position that you're in, estimating and quantifying through Magnet, and talk about kind of the transition you've seen the company go through, but what's the transition you've gone through?
Okay, so basically I when it first started out, when I came on, it was more we were meeting at your house.
100%.
You would park the truck by your house wherever you were staying, show up there. Just one man was kind of the almost not the do it all, but like everything goes smoother if I show up, get everything ready while Sy's getting his phone blown up and dealing with the first of the morning issues that always come up.
100%.
But so it's kind of like it's kind of a weird. It's almost like a transition of places. The places I've gone to work to meet up to start the day every day has changed drastically, but it's almost like a mirror reflection of how much it has grown, because you start out just meeting in a driveway. Now there's an actual building with an office.
We've been there 3 years now in that building.
Really?
Yeah.
We had a couple additions.
It's
built some walls.
Yeah, we have, man. So first couple years you're meeting at the house, man. I can remember those years when my son was born, and man, you were laying 2-inch conduit by yourself, and while I was going over here to meet with so and so and so and so we could have work in 3 weeks, and
getting dropped off on site. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Hey, I need the truck today. Here's your tools. Gotta go. But you know what? I gotta commend you there, because those early years, man, what the support role of that guy is so crucial to the business succeeding. I don't care if HVAC, concrete, utilities, dirt work, I don't care what kind of trade you're in, you have got to have the guy that you can lean on to ensure the job keeps going, but allow the guy that's selling the work to get out in front and actually sell the work and not be the guy. And that's a big step once you make that transition and getting past it. What was that time like for you? I know it was incredibly frustrating. Digging out there 2-inch.
Not too bad, because it's also it kind of depends on your mindset, really. Because you get dropped off, and it's kind of like if it is you, or maybe one other person is there to help you, occasionally or something. It's just you can be as productive as you want to be, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's a little bit more freeing for somebody that maybe has some good work ethic.
Right.
You can just tackle it, and you don't really have to worry about dealing with too many other people. It's not you don't have to make this great symphony of people work together for like the one thing you're doing. You know, it's just like simple stuff. Just get it done.
Yeah,
How fast can
I
you
miss
do it?
those
That's the
days,
key.
my guy, where you just, oh, this is our task for the day? Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean...
And just get the one task done for the day. You know what I mean? I miss those days. But now, fast forward, you're...
hold on. Let's not forget about the Craigslist ad workers. It has to be... The Craigslist ad hires were something else, brother. Because there's no interview process. You know, it's... whoever shows up is there to help you.
You bet. And I mean... Here's the deal. From the business aspect of it, it's like, what are you supposed to do? You know you can carry a full-time guy, for sure, and you can tell him and look him in the face and say, hey, I got your paycheck every week. No matter what it is, we're going to make it work. But then homeboy needs some help because that guy that's selling the work is usually the same guy doing it. So you've got to apply another piece of labor, or that guy needs to be proficient at whatever he's doing.
Right.
Have all the tools and minus the labor, but you need that extra guy. So, you know, early on, you're just like, oh, I'll just find some help off of Craigslist. This will benefit the production day.
Right.
Yeah, no, there was some dandies, man.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of that's just the blueprint for building. I mean, one person gets overwhelmed, they need help. And then that person that now is helping the original person gets overwhelmed. So you just keep adding people, you know, it's kind of basic. So,
well, that's crazy. And you were key on a 2-man crew during our fire line days too. I mean, key spotter. You were doing what you were doing with me, with Dalton or Dylan or any of those guys back then. Dude, super key, because you knew a lot more of what was going on at the same time, because you knew the why and the how from the background. Now, don't get me wrong, Dalton knew exactly what he's doing. Both of them did. But having two guys there that had a clue of what was going on compared to that one guy in a Craigslister, you guys were so much more productive normally.
It was, especially with me and Dalton, it was two guys that had municipality and contractor kind of experience, like we've seen both sides of the somewhat it feels like an argument that's going on sometimes, but you know, so that definitely helped us because we were able to foresee any problem, much more problems, you know what I mean, have that stuff in our head.
Make phone calls before you get to them, eh?
Yeah.
I got 100% agree with that. And so the other transition we can't miss here before we get up to what you're doing now, because it's really cool what you're doing in there. Thank God you have embraced all of that. But we were doing so many fire lines as a bulk of our work that Dylan, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about underground fire suppression. So that means from the public utility main to the building it's a designated line here in the state of Arkansas that has to be installed by the fire line contractors. So the last year we were doing fire lines as a majority volume of our work. We did 82 different projects that year. That's a lot of hop, skip, and a hop, skip, and a hop, skip with machines, material, gravel, what if we're saw cutting, steel plates, trench boxes. It can go on and on and on. But when you do get all the production out of there, if you're going to get paid on it, you got to have a daggone testing slip saying that you're gonna thumbs up. And so Dylan came to me, different period in his life, and was talking to me. He's like, hey, I can basically get this testing off of your hands. And I said, really? And testing, back then I was doing testing, estimation, and PMing. I was doing all three. It was only 2.5 crews, kind of, sort of. And moving from there, testing, you had to deal with, not only did you have to deal with 82 different GCs or project managers or engineers and the city. You had to deal with all 4 of these, and it was a bunch. And if these guys were doing 1.5 to 2 a week per crew, like, you're having to sit there and do 2 or 3 tests in a week. Tell us a little bit about that. How much did you learn through that process, though? Email and communication.
Oh yeah, I definitely learned that like documentation is everything. But I would say, I don't know, there's time management really, because it was like for every fire line that we did, it kind of started I would say a 3-day total encompassing process of doing the initial either loading, flushing, doing all this stuff that the city the hoops that the city makes you go through for good reason. I mean,
Right.
It's their like water
Specs.
line, so but basically you have to there was times where I was it's a 2-hour test, and I've got a test scheduled to start at 9 in Springdale, but I can't really I'm really trying to get these things tested so I can start the sample process. So I want to get them both on the same day, but I start the 2-hour test at 9, and then have the other one starting in Rogers at 10. So I'm driving, starting the test, leaving, going, starting one, coming back, just kind of staggering it like that. Really helped with time management for sure.
You learned time management through that, huh?
Yeah, because it's just
That's it. That's it. And it wasn't, and back then it was, hey, Dylan, did you test this? Okay, hey, I need that tested so we can get paid on. Okay, well, that goes on the hot list. And we could kind of control that kind of stuff back then, eh?
Yeah.
And so the testing side of it, you ran almost 2 years in that kind of position.
But also I think what that helped was every job, because we were moving around town so much, just in one area, is that all the inspectors knew, they knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew Dylan was going to call them, and I was going to set all this stuff up, and they knew that whenever they showed up, I was going to have everything, ready to go.
That's big, man.
Just kind of like rolling the red carpet out for them.
Yep.
To expedite this process as fast as possible, So if it goes right the first time, a whole bunch of times, you get a lot of trust.
Yeah,
From
and not only that, you can make those 1-pounders or that 1.5-pounders that could have been a problem and held up the final of the project, etc. It's me here. I didn't do no funny business, and you're right. That trust right there and that relationship, like I've talked about on this show 100 times, is invaluable to that situation. Not just only to Dylan, but above Dylan and people getting paid, and etc. etc. And you learned, I think, a lot of the pressures of why things had to transpire, why they had to happen the way they did. And I think it only readied you more for the position that you walked into. Although now you're here doing quantification and estimation, kind of mushroomed in the closet, just really cramming on the computer. And we're using a program, Topcon MAGNET. And over the last 1.5 years, almost 2 years, you're coming into the whole estimation role. And I got to say, you started right at the tail end of the rush of the last 4 to 6 years. Like right at the tail end, where numbers were kind of getting a little shaky. It wasn't like 3 years ago where you could just send numbers out the door. And we had to learn together, had to learn those 3 words of know your cost and really start diving off in. But the transition of that Magnet Pro, man, or Magnet software is just so powerful. And you came to me back in December and you're like, hey man, give me a little bit of time and I promise you I'll have this stuff proficient. And you do now. It's crazy wicked what we can do with that software. Now that we've alleviated some time in adding Heath and allowing him to do what he's doing. But man, take us a little bit. I know it was an incredibly frustrating time to go from, okay, we've kind of got an idea of numbers, start slinging them out the doors. Oh, we feel this redaction in the market. Oh my God, there's 47 excavation contractors per month getting added into the field. And you had to live through that in the last 2 months, or over the last 1.5 years, 18 months of me really pressuring you. And you're like, yeah, dude, like, are you seeing all of these? Talk about a little bit about that and talk a little bit about Magnet and both those two.
Well, I mean, really, because you kind of pulled me in one day and it was really presented like, I need help on these takeoffs.
100%.
You know, so I'm sitting there looking at a screen, just doing a bunch of takeoffs, and it was kind of just like the introductory. Maybe you were seeing if I could even do it. You know, who knows? But started doing that, and then because I mean, what I guess really helped me, what made me not so afraid to do it was like, oh, now I'm just looking at what I've been doing for the past X amount of years on an overhead shot. You know, I can actually grasp what that looks like in the real world. But
you have that practical brain, right?
Yeah, like you're always practical brain. I was, you're sitting there showing me, the spreadsheet and how we're how all this stuff, everything I need to think of and remember but I'm kind of getting all that. You're saying practical brain, mathematical brain.
Yeah, that's right.
You used to say,
that's the two I used to. Mathematical brain.
Money brain.
We want to make a bunch of money, but practical brain says, well, it's kind of hard to sell that, and it's not really practical.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to, especially doing this new thing. Last thing you want to do is mess up and cost. Now you're talking money. I'm not, and it's a little bit more right in your face as far as the numbers than compared to me
missing a test.
Yeah. Or, something like that, which, I'm not sitting there thinking about all the gas, all that, every little expense that takes. So, like I said, it's the last thing you want. So it's hard to not overestimate and just being so afraid of being wrong that you're just sending bids out there and it's just ghost city because you're higher than everybody else.
Right.
You're not, and it's not even, doesn't even make sense to be, but you're just a little bit too conservative, I guess.
Yep.
But,
you just, to add to what Dylan's saying is what I think he's trying to get across is when you're new in that estimator role, if you screw up, it's big potatoes. And in our world, underground world, it's a $30,000-$50,000 problem like that. It is
uncomfortable conversation.
Very uncomfortable, awkward conversations sometimes. But you know what? We've had them over the years and we've moved past. But I think, what you're trying to get at is you care so much. You don't want to make that decision or screw the guys down the line actually producing the work. Mm-hmm. So you overestimate and you try to make sure there's enough in there, but then kind of screw yourself and not get enough work. Dude, I think you're talking to hundreds of thousands of estimators out there right now that feel the same exact way.
So it's almost like you have to get over that fear of, sitting there with the bid in your email outbox or whatever it's called, like just hovering over the send button like, oh, should I sleep on it? But anyway, that's still something I guess you probably can't never get rid of. But
I still do that, bro.
Yeah, I still anyway, and then so then you kind of started getting into, because you had decided that I want to get in the dirt game.
Well, we kind of had to capture the total site, which that's kind of, 100%. We had to get in the dirt game to capture the total site.
Yeah, I said. But so you set up a presentation with the Insight.
Yes.
People, and basically it's like it does the same stuff that a magnet office, or I forget what the Trimble one is called, but it's basically
Trimble Business Center, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
TBC.
But basically it's just used for earthwork takeoff quantities. How much cut, fill, you can enter in all your undercut, overbuild, all that stuff. So that did help me using that first software that was a little bit more just earthwork takeoff specific. Mm-hmm. It kind of forced me to learn about the whole CAD file. I was for the longest time I had no idea that a CAD file or that a PDF is made from a CAD file. Right. I said a PDF plans comes from the CAD file. I was like, oh, I thought they were two different things.
Bing.
Yeah,
but me as well.
Right.
Not.
But thankfully, there's a lot of really there's a lot of good engineers that will just explain it to you, because I mean, all you got to do is just ask. I mean, and just drop all shame. I mean,
Right.
Good thing is you don't have to go up to their office and look them face to the face. You can just be like, "Hey, I'm calling about this project. By the way, I'm working on this deal. Do you know?" Just kind of ask them a question for a little nugget of information, especially you're sitting there trying to, I guess, what would be the word, devise what this person has drawn.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what better person to talk to and maybe try to pick up a little bit of knowledge along the way.
Right.
When you're just trying to do your daily job. you
Right.
know? But, no, that helped me a lot, kind of made me see things a little bit different as far as how all this stuff works. And then I guess I forget to bring up, we forget that I was doing a little GPS there for a while. I think
That is true. 100%. You've kind of wore some hats, brother.
Well, I think I had been doing that before I started using that takeoff software. So that was like a perfect little step, because I mean, like I said, I started out in the field laying pipe, and now I'm not. They just had me out in the field,
Yep.
God wanding, making sure, checking elevations, stuff like that. So I had a basic knowledge of what this application was going to be used for later down the road, when it actually happens.
You knew the why.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird little, perfect little transition up, honestly. If you think about it, it's like parallel, same, I don't know, it's crazy. But, yeah.
It's like I was guiding.
Sy's going to be like, I'm not architect of it all.
So, no, I speak the magnet stuff, the Insight, going from there. Insight was good. I can't speak bad about the product. It did its job. The support was there. You spent a lot of phone calls on there. We can't speak anything like that, but it was basic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we wanted to go even further in depth. We wanted this result instead of this result with the information that we were gathering during the takeoff and quantification process.
Right. Because you couldn't go out and document a job with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was.
But what we didn't know, to get us from this amount of results to this amount of results, how much implementation and onboarding and training we had to do on the input of the data just to get us this amount of results, because Magnet, the amount of information and it can intake compared to a program like Insight. And now you're sitting here spitting out 2 takeoffs a day with pretty little 10 lines and ready to almost go to model.
Beautiful triangles.
So
everywhere.
Big shout out to Topcon. We've been with them over the last 18 months. Been a rough transition implementing that, but if you guys love this episode, you can definitely find us more episodes, and all of our information can be found at our website at bluecollarbusinesspodcast.com. But now that you've kind of transitioning here, working together with me over the years, now you're in the estimator role. We talk, but it's more over email than anything. It's, hey, at the end of the day, hey, I was thinking on this, bid reviews, etc., leadership meetings, but it's not like it was 7 years ago. When we were in the truck, we were hanging out, we would talk about college football, baseball, what happened, over the weekend. And it's a hard transition. And number one, I appreciate you sticking through it, as we've watched a lot of people that couldn't. But at the same time, my guy, talk a little bit about that and the amount of patience it probably took through the transition. And we've had a lot of stinking good times. Oh my God, I can think of some good times. But working together through the years, give me some favorite moments, my guy, of the last 7 years. Specifically, it doesn't even have to be any type of specifics. Give me a favorite moment. Right on the spot. Bingo.
Okay, well, I don't know, probably one of my favorite spots, and these may just be me just giving everybody the dirt on side, but
Oh God,
it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I think about it occasionally, but like you said, it'd just be two guys riding down a truck. I don't remember what. I think we were kind of installing a septic tank or something somewhere out in the middle of nowhere as usual. And we're driving one day, and I think you probably maybe distracted driving or something. I don't know, trying to figure out.
What?
But Sy clips this the trash cans is trash day or whatever, and those big kind of beefy trash cans. He kind of clips one going down the road. We had a good little laugh about it, It's like we should do that more. Was probably the conversation. No, I probably, but we laugh about it. Go on probably a week or something, maybe 2 weeks goes by, and we're at one of those hash jobs, and Sy gets out and he's talking to somebody, and he walks to the other side of the truck and he sees like a green stripe down the side of it, right in the wheel well or something. And he starts saying, he's like, I can't remember who else was standing there. You're running around asking who the heck who works for you drives a green truck? Somebody swiped my truck, dude. Who is it? And we're, there's people sitting around, well, so-and-so, Jim Bob, I think, their car. And it hit me, dude. It hit me. Because in the moment, I was kind of like, what?
That's awesome.
And then it hit me, too. I was like, Sy, that's the
trash can you smoked.
That's the trash can you smoked. And I don't know if I think I actually was just like blurted it out because it was a revelation to me, too. I was like the trash can. And it may have been embarrassed because we're like, Sy's going out there hollering like, who did this to me? And it ends up being just our...
Oh, my God.
So,
dude, I needed that laugh. Yeah, I can tell you where that was. That was coming back from Elm Springs, kind of the cut through back to 112, and it was just a quick corner. And I think we had the gooseneck back then. I can't quite remember, but yeah, that old Dodge. I remember that green stripe. That's so funny, my guy. Over the years, you have seen us transition in work. What kind of work was your favorite over the years? Like, just to either go do before you got in there. I mean, we know water. I get that, but it's not the best thing to play in mud every day. What kind of work did you enjoy and accomplish and see at the end?
Probably my favorite stuff. You're talking about like the earlier days type of stuff, or just any time?
Through the 9 years of...
I got one. Okay, so in the beginning, whenever it was just like this odd end stuff, and it's like more like 70% of the stuff you would rather be doing, but whatever, right?
Yep.
I like doing the electric conduit jobs for old, what's his name? Williams.
Oh! Shout out to Jeremy Williams, dude. Early on contractor. That was so much fun. Out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. A little new development or something. Just go out there and dig, man. And
there wasn't a whole bunch of utilities in your way. It was normally digging in a field of a new development. Yeah, those were some fun times. And we do that now. We just did one for a solar farm.
Right, yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm confident bidding it up. Like, dude, it's freaking pipe and a turn up. That's it. But anyway. And then now I would say honestly, one of my favorite stuff to do at work-wise is stuff I'm doing now.
Well, that makes me so happy to hear, my guy.
Well, I mean, because it's like going back, the magnet thing, even though I'm just sitting there kind of taking, I can pull my weight and give us the information we're looking for as far as there's bid and stuff and quantities and all that stuff. I still know that I've really only maybe mastered 5%, 10% of what that stuff can do, and what I can like learn, come to know through good experience or bad experience. So
education is expensive, but experience is priceless, my dude.
Yeah.
Like you can't learn what you've learned in a classroom anywhere, my dude. I can't either.
Right.
But it's those guys that stick it out, go, man, we just talked about, from spotting to being the number one guy, like weatherproofing blocks, to do French drains, you know what I mean? Paint and tar on those blocks, to running around testing and dealing with every engineer, etc., to transitioning to the GPS guy. And now you're estimating, but man, you couldn't have had any better prereqs to be in the position that you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have all aspects, and now I don't think, you said this the other day, well, it's been a while ago, but I reference it all the time, as having the 3D mindset and not just having this 2D mindset. And I find that my brain works in the 3D world. Obviously it has to, but you prepared yourself through these transitions, especially when you got into the GPS role, I would assume, because you could go out there. I mean, Dylan could go out there and take a shot of a topsoil pile and tell us exactly how much yardage was there. And that was like...
Right. Instead of a guess.
We just turned a wheel from square to a round wheel. Like, that was huge for us.
And
instead
it's
of
easy
just...
to do.
Exactly. Yeah. But we had no idea, being a younger contractor, although we're a younger generation contractor, that we can definitely glue to that. I feel like we have learned so much in the last 18 months on that. The entire company has just moved so quickly with this GPS stuff. And I think that's a testament to our age. How old were we? We were 23, because you're 30, you'll be 33 in March. I'll be 33 in October. And let's talk about it, dude. You used to drive, literally, this is how OG this is. Back before I even was renting a house, I was living in my camper and on my in-laws' land. Dylan was meeting, and he didn't live too far from there. It actually was pretty convenient, honestly. But
I miss that cabin so much.
Oh my God, right? Yeah. But he would come up there and meet me. We'd get in the truck and we'd go around through all the day. But my one thing I'll never forget in the history of Sy-Con with Dylan Cecil was, we were meeting at the camper one day, and it was 4 a.m., and we were traveling to Boonville. And I was in the single axle dump truck with pintle hitch, and you were in the Dodge with the utility trailer, just 24-foot bumper pull. And I had the Harley rake on top of the pintle hitch, and we had a chain over it. It was 4 a.m., so we just, hopped in, looked around, everything. Chain felt good. Everything looked great. Well, there's a pretty good-sized hill coming out of there, and pretty quick twisty coming up in and out of there. And we get up there to Anderson's to get fuel before our road trip. I looked back there, and trailer was empty, and I didn't think anything of it. And trailer pulls up, and he was empty, and I didn't think anything of it. And then spin around, and I said, Dylan?
No, we were in the same truck.
Were we?
Yeah, we were.
Were we in the Dodge?
One truck.
The dump truck was already down there. The dump truck was...
I don't remember.
Or did we take the gooseneck?
I think it was that situation. I can't remember.
I thought we both pulled up to get fuel.
No, I wasn't.
We were in the same truck.
Yep.
We lost the Harley rake in the middle of the woods on that hill coming up, and it made 2 giant indentions in the asphalt. And we didn't laugh about it at the moment. Obviously, we were both kind of freaked out, and we had to fight 6 a.m. morning rush hour traffic of literally a very good sized portion of the lake is how you get through this road and where a lot of folks live. And they just kept coming and coming and coming. We've got it was a nightmare. Had to get a machine, had to get it loaded. We didn't get to Boonville until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Starting at 4 a.m. was stupid. And, but no, those were the good moments. It wasn't the end of the world. We had just thrown attachment. Yeah, it was pretty new, but,
we saw a spark back there. But
we really thought,
Well, that was.
I don't know, dude. Oh my God, there were so many good times, so many bad times. But the one next question that I think a lot of these listeners are going to want to ask you, my guy, is how did you do it? How did you go from being the ditch hand to all the way to the estimator? How? And I know that may sound super elementary, but everybody wants to do that and progress all the way through. Is there something, are you more patient, et cetera, or whatever the case may be? How?
Consistency. Just
I like it.
Keep showing up. Don't really be just trying to, don't let your job or whatever you're trying to do, be a secondary to you're just not wanting to go to work, or, how we all have just kind of lazy wants or, stuff like that. Be consistent, be I guess loyal, you could say, to whatever someone like you is rolling out in front of me. I mean, that and I don't know. I don't feel like I definitely think different than Sy. That's for sure. I definitely operate on I'm just a completely different person. So I feel like I definitely would not want to own a company myself and have to deal with all that stuff. Me personally, other people want to do it. That's great. I'm happy for you. But then I'm also happy for people that just want to kind of find your role and just absolutely kill it.
Yep.
And that's really the key to it, I feel like.
Man, and I got to say, every single position I threw you in, you didn't take it as oh man, why is he doing this? You took it as an opportunity and excelled every single time I put you in these seats, my dude. Every single time. The testing thing was probably the most surprised out of everything, because that was the most significant jump from being they're gonna want to pick your brain about, how you stuck it out overall. Don't get me wrong, there was a period of time you left, but I gotta tell the audience that you gave me 3 weeks to help me find a replacement, train, whatever you wanted to do, because you didn't want to shut this door in this bridge. And it wasn't 10 months later you called me back and said, hey bro, this is for the birds, you mind, I got a job? I'm like, yeah, bud, I've been missing you. And you left the door open, and I can't tell you how big of a deal. I mean, obviously, look at you now.
That's a smart move.
Yeah, very smart move. And to think, in my retrospect, that was crushing to me back then. But at the same time, I wanted you to excel. I've never not wanted anybody to excel over through the years. I want them to be a better person. I want them to personally develop, and some of them personally develop further than others, and some of them have different wants and desires over the years. And it's my job to always nurture and be a little bit of that daddy role to everybody within the company, but also, too, when they start to excel, get out of your way and let you fly. And I feel like I've done that. Now, don't get me wrong, we've both learned our lessons over the years and learning that trial and error, with my beautiful wife being the guillotine at the end of the day if we mess up, right? But one last question, brother. I can't say it's the last question. Why did you pick blue collar? Why did you pick the trade world? Back before me and you, why'd you pick this world?
Just being outside was way better, because I think I did do a job where I was kind of in a warehouse and building cubicles for Walmart.
That's right.
Basically tearing them down, new ones in. I had that job for a minute. I was like, oh, this is why I prefer outside jobs, which is crazy now, though. I'm completely locked in an office. I'm like you said, sometimes it's sort of a prisoner.
Yeah, of your own mind.
situation. But
okay,
I still get to think about being outside.
We took a field trip this
I get
morning.
to think about outside things.
We literally took a field trip this morning.
Yeah, I'm always looking for an excuse to just ride around in the truck, just look at the outside world now. That's why I picked blue collar,
That's a great answer, though. Seriously, is just wanting to be outside, even if it's 115 degrees or negative 30.
Sweat feels good.
It's still better than being in an office, my guy. Don't get me wrong. Now you're in an office, but you do get to go look at job sites. You have purpose in every move that you make, but yeah, it's so important. It's crazy now that you've seen both sides of it, how the office has to support the field. You know what I mean? Now, if it doesn't support the field, as we know, it all runs like crap. The field, they're the direct earners. It's our job in here as indirect costs, as they're paying for our salaries, is to be as best as we can at our job to effectively flow that to them. And I think me and you both, especially myself, has had to learn that being in the office roles, is that as long as the help is warranted and wanted, we're here to help and have been. Don't get me wrong, we both go through spells, not just me and you, but everybody in our office, that we get really closed off and really driven and really focused on one said task, me, myself, and I, personally speaking here, that we kind of get closed off from the team. And I have been with Heath and you both over the last 6 months, dude. It's been I can't tell you how big of a deal it's been to watch you guys turn that whole thing around. I I remember having a conversation with you wigging out, and I was too, because we need to crank numbers out, and you were in this interchanging of, we really wanted to add this out of this program, but we kind of still needed to crank numbers out on this program, and it was just this weird transition period that we could never get out of. But you looked at me, dude, need a little bit of time, and I'm so glad I did that, because it's been awesome since. But I've got kind of the pre-contract side working, talking to the accounting. Now I've got to get the production level talking into all three, and we're going to be boot scooting and boogieing. Come on.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Heath out there. True believer, if he knows what I mean. But anyways, no, one thing that I am not very good at that Heath has definitely helped me out with, and as far as just literally taking a load off, is he's got the sales experience and stuff like that, which I can call somebody, I can follow up and call somebody and be like, hey, so I'm so and so, I put in a bid for this job, just kind of wondering how that's going. I can talk them up a little bit, but I think it's just me personally, like you were kind of saying, you're not really like selling. Like,
yep.
You're not
100%.
You're not using your words to sell. You know what I mean? As far as me personally, I 100%.
That's what I do.
Because the way I want to try to sell people is how I want to be sold, is just like very short, and there's a lot that goes into the whole sales strategy and stuff like that, and I'm just not familiar with, because I'm a pipeline guy.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So no, he's definitely helped me out in that.
But it's given you the time.
Yes, I can really focus on
to shield off the people just nagging you and taking you in all these different directions throughout the day, that you could get to where you're at. And man, it's gonna be so cool moving forward. But I need to not miss the Blue Collar Business Podcast.com website. It's where you can find all the information about what me and Dylan are talking about, and a little bit of Topcon, etc. But the last kind of final sum-up question here, brother, is what's a takeaway for the blue-collar worker that's listening, who has been in your shoes, maybe starting a brand new spot, but he is absolutely sick of being stuck in the mud, whether that you want to take that as a literal sense, or you want to take that as a mental sense, if you want to take that as an emotional sense. But talk to those guys, especially in a year like 24. It's been freaking brutal on us. We can't, entrepreneur, the guys working, employees, I mean, everybody doesn't have enough money. I mean, eggs, bread, everything's up. It's crazy. We already know about that. But talk to that guy, because here you are as a success story through the stages of a blue-collar business, dude. Like, it doesn't happen very often. And then spin around, there's guys that are just like you that the big man doesn't even know he can use yet. So talk to that guy that is just absolutely sick of being stuck in the mud.
It's a doozy there. I don't know, as far as just advice or something like that, I'm still learning a lot, but every day. But I guess if you're feeling stuck in the mud, which is definitely, I'm pretty sure I see what you mean, is stuck in the mud either mentally or as far as your just literal workload or insurmountable seeming problems that you have. Like, I guess the best way for me to, I kind of combine the mental with the to me, the getting the physical work and the stuff that you have to do done, and if you do a good job and you feel good about it, then that's going to help your mental side for me personally. But
that sense of accomplishment,
yeah, it's kind of like
so big in the traits.
Yeah, it's kind of like exercising the body heals the mind, or working the body heals the mind, whatever the phrase is. But that I've discovered, me personally, that is literally the key to like me not feeling, even though I come in and I'm buried, I'm like, I got everything I got to do today. There's no possible way I'm getting it all time. But the more work you do now, the less work you have to do later. So that's kind of the key to. And
that's so big, man, for a guy that's in the ditch, to take that phrase right there. Not just in the ditch or running HVAC or roping homes with electrical. It's, the less work you do now is the less work you got to do later.
The more work you do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The more work you do now, the less work you have to do later. Thank you for the correction. But it's so simple. It's like, hey, picking up the trash as you're working your way and you're cleaning your way out of a room, electrical, or hey, carrying the ditch bag to the next stick and going ahead and, without being told, put the duct tape on the wire and run it down. Like, you've seen it over the years. Those guys that literally you have to tell them every single muscle move throughout the day, and it's exhausting.
I don't know how I could live that way.
Again,
I'm too worried about it. Just at least walk fast and look worried, right?
Walk fast.
Look worried while you're thinking of what you got to do next.
It's been, but that mental fortitude of a blue-collar guy, especially a family guy, that is going and doesn't see, any way advancing up. But there is ways of advancing up. I will tell you, you just have to shine a little bit brighter. And it may not be in the ways that you think it is. It's simple things of, going ahead and wrapping a tea today instead of doing it in the morning so you can be ready to pour that concrete behind that tea in the morning. But at the same time, what if you have a flat in the morning? You show up and you're rushing around. So to your scenario, but from the owner's sense, I'm like, the less labor we got to have on that job, more profitable we can be. So if everybody had that mentality of getting that work done that's in front of them during that time, yeah, that's such a great, easy little takeaway from the office all the way down. But anything else to add there?
No, I can't think of much.
I can't think of much. I
can give y'all more dirt, but I better not.
Well, honestly, we're fixing to be just about out of time. But if you guys have loved this episode, please go check out bluecollarbusinesspodcast.com. That's where you're going to find more episodes just like this, where we share the ins and outs, the in-depth, behind the scenes of what the blue-collar business model, the skilled trade worker has to go through, whether it be from day one employee to day one owner to been in it 9 years this month, and here we go. You know what I mean? So number one, thank you for your time, buddy, for coming in and sharing some points. But I look forward. We'll definitely have you and Heath on one together for sure, because I think a lot of guys are going to have some questions about estimation, and that whole concept in itself is probably one of the most fearing things for most smaller contractors. You know what I mean? So look forward to seeing you there. But until next time, guys, please be safe, be kind, and be humble. We'll talk to you then. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like, share it with the fellers, check out our website to send us any questions and comments about your experience in the blue collar business. Who do you want to hear from? Send them our way, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you may have. Till next time, guys.